Chef Lux Scones in Sauce Over the Wall. Act 1. A Feast in the White House. The grand dining room of the White House was alive with the clatter of silverware and the rustle of fine linens. At the head of the table sat President Rump, a man with an appetite as insatiable as his ego. Before him lay a veritable banquet, glistening roast, towering desserts, and meticulously plated hors d'oeuvres. This right here, Rump began, pointing his fork at a platter of stuffed quail. This is the best dish anyone has ever made. Believe me, I know food. I know the best foods in the world. I know the best chefs. They all love me. Tremendous job by the kitchen staff. He speared a quail leg, waving it as he spoke. The flavor, unbelievable. It's like, what do you call it? Gastronomy? I'm a big fan of gastronomy. A murmur of polite agreement rippled through the room. Encouraged, Rump moved on to a bowl of bisque. This soup, it's creamy, it's rich. Very French, I think. The French love me, by the way. They really do. But then it happened. As a vibrant, fragrant dish was placed before him, and Ade's eyes widened and alarmed. "Mr. President," she stammered, reaching for the plate. "This wasn't supposed to be on the lineup." Rump raised an eyebrow. "Why not? It looks tremendous." He grabbed a fork and took a generous bite of the dish, chewing with exaggerated satisfaction. This is incredible. The flavors are tremendous, folks. Where is it from? Who made this?" The aide hesitated, wringing her hands. I thought it might be foreign," she finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Rump's expression changed instantly mid-chew. He spat the food out dramatically onto his plate. "Foreign! I knew it. I knew it tasted foreign. This is horrible. Who brought this into my White House?" The aide hesitated, her voice shaking. I think it might have been one of the kitchen staff, sir, but I'm not sure." Rump's demeanor shifted abruptly. His features darkened with outrage. "Not sure? You're fired." He jabbed a finger toward another aide. You're her replacement. Start an investigation. Find out who did this. And give me the best culinary detectives. Right now. Act 2. The Sugar Crash. Back in London, Chef Lux Scones sat slumped in his chair, his normally sharp eyes dulled by boredom. The cozy sitting room was littered with empty teacups and crumpled wrappers from assorted pastries. Dr. Dim Sum, seated nearby, watched him with growing concern. "Chef Lux, this isn't healthy," Dim Sum said. "You've consumed enough sugar to put a diabetic dragon into a coma." Chef Lux sighed dramatically. "What else am I to do, Dim Sum? The city, no, the world offers no mysteries worthy of my intellect." Dim Sum was about to respond when the door burst open. In strode Mrs. Puddington, accompanied by one of President Rump's assistants, while two Secret Service agents waited just outside the door. "Chef Lux Scones," Mrs. Puddington exclaimed. "Why on earth haven't you answered your phone? This assistant has been waiting." The assistant stepped forward, looking slightly frazzled. "Dr. Dim Sum, Mr. Scones, the President of the United States requires your expertise. It's a matter of national security." Dim Sum raised an eyebrow. "National security? Involving food?" Mrs. Puddington nodded emphatically. "President Rump's kitchen has been infiltrated by foreign cuisine, and he suspects foul play." Dim Sum began to reply, but Chef Lux suddenly sprang to his feet, his energy renewed. We'll take the case. Act 3. Rump Roast 1. The roar of jet engines filled the air as Chef Lock and Dim Sum boarded Rump Roast 1, the president's personal plane. Inside, the decor was as lavish and over the top as one might expect. Gold accents, plush seating, and framed portraits of Rump himself. "Welcome aboard," the aide greeted them nervously. "The president will brief you once we land." Dim Sum settled into a seat and glanced at the opulent surroundings. Gold accents, custom seats, framed portraits of himself. It's all exactly what you'd imagine. Chef Lock sipped his tea, unbothered. Quite theatrical, but not entirely unexpected. Dim Sum smirked. "Do you think the president genuinely needs our help, or is this another showpiece for his ego?" Chef Lock leaned back, his eyes sparkling with intrigue. "Dim Sum, cases involving food and politics often unravel in the most fascinating ways. Let us keep an open mind." "Still, it's curious they brought us in," Dim Sum mused. "Shouldn't the White House chef be handling this?" "Perhaps," Chef Lock replied, "but it suggests a problem beyond their skill, which makes it delectable for us." Dim Sum chuckled lightly and adjusted his tie. "So we're on our way to the White House." The aide, overhearing their conversation, turned with a faint smile. "Not exactly." Act 4. The Culinary Conundrum. At the golf course, Rump wasted no time. "Here's the deal," he said, gesturing to a covered dish that had been brought along. "This, whatever it is, showed up on my table. I've been betrayed, folks. Betrayed. It's foreign, and I need you to find out who did it." Chef Lock lifted the cover, revealing the dish. A perfectly prepared plate of arroz con gandules. The aroma of seasoned rice, pigeon peas, and pork wafted into the air. Dim Sum's eyes widened. "This is a classic dish from Puerto Rico." "Puerto Rico?" Rump's brow furrowed. "That's part of America, right? So maybe it's fine. I've always loved Puerto Rico." Before Dim Sum could explain further, a voice interrupted. "Hey everyone." It was Toffee Pinchloaf, an unpopular comedian who had been invited for a rally. "Puerto Rico? Isn't that the island of garbage?" An awkward silence fell. Rump shot Pinchloaf a withering glare. "Wrong. Very wrong. Terrible joke. I love Puerto Ricans." Act 5. The Truth Unveiled. Back at the White House, Chef Lock worked tirelessly, his sharp mind piecing together the clues. The dish was made with care, he mused. The rice, the seasoning, all point to someone with a deep connection to Puerto Rican cuisine. Dim Sum nodded. "But who among the staff?" Chef Lock suddenly straightened, his eyes alight with realization. "The gardener." Observe the following. There were grains of dirt under his nails, a sure sign of recent work in the garden, unwashed for hours. His uniform tie was hastily fastened, suggesting he dressed in a rush. Furthermore, the faint aroma of plantains on his hands, an ingredient native to Puerto Rico cuisine, clinches it. And finally, he recently mentioned his grandmother's recipe, a detail that aligns perfectly. Let us pay him a visit. Moments later, they confronted the gardener, who confessed. "Yes, it was me," he said. "I only wanted to share a taste of home. I meant no harm." Rump's expression softened. "You know what? It's a great dish. Tremendous, really. Let's keep it on the menu. But next time, let me know first." As the crisis resolved, Chef Lock and Dim Sum prepared to leave. "Another case closed," Chef Lock said, his voice tinged with satisfaction. Dim Sum chuckled, and a reminder that even the simplest dish can stir the greatest mysteries. Chef Lock grinned. Indeed, Din sung. Now let's toast with tea.